The ABCs of the post-coronavirus economy from the Hutchins Center at Brookings. We are in a sharp and deep recession because we shut large parts of the economy to try to contain the COVID-19 virus. The unemployment rate is staggeringly high, but this won't last forever. States are slowly beginning to reopen now. The big question, what shape will the economic recovery take? Analysts are using an alphabet shorthand to describe the possibilities. Let's start with this line. It represents the path the economy was on before the pandemic hit. And this is where we are now in the middle of 2020. We've suffered a sharp drop in economic activity, lost millions of jobs. Revenues have evaporated for airlines, hotels, theaters, malls, and many other businesses. What will happen next? This is the most optimistic scenario, the Z. As lockdowns are lifted, people make up for some of the things they missed. They go on vacations, they delay, they eat out more often, they schedule elective surgeries. The economy has a temporary boom. Spending and output are higher than they would have been pre-pandemic. Then, once the pent-up demand is exhausted, the economy returns to normal. This next scenario is still pretty optimistic, the V. Vacations not taken, haircuts skipped, movies not watched, they're all gone forever. But as social distancing is lifted, life returns to normal, and the economy quickly gets back to the path it was on before the pandemic. And then there's the swoosh, borrowed from Nike's logo. It's probably more likely. The economy bounces back sharply as restrictions are lifted and economic activity increases. There's a burst of euphoria. But the ill effects of the pandemic prove long-lasting. Consumers, businesses, and state and local governments are still hesitant to spend. Laid-off workers take time to find new jobs. Landlords take time to find new tenants for storefronts that have been vacated. It takes a very long time for the economy to get back to the pre-pandemic trajectory. And then there is the W. We reopen, the economy picks up, but there's a surge in COVID cases later this year. We end up with another round of lockdowns and another economic downturn. In this case, the recovery could be W-shaped. Then the question becomes, what does the recovery from that second downturn look like? And then there is the pessimistic case, the L. In this scenario, the pandemic does long-lasting harm. Manufacturers rethink global supply chains at the cost of efficiency. Millions of small businesses go bankrupt, and fewer new businesses sprout to replace them. Laid-off workers remain on the sidelines of the job market. Businesses defer spending on investments and R&D, reducing innovation. Productivity growth slows. The output of goods and services is lower than it would have been without the pandemic forever. Now this sounds bleak, but it's basically what the recovery from the Great Recession of 2007, 8, and 9 looked like. So what will determine what shape the recovery takes? The most important factor, of course, is tackling the virus. Testing, contact tracing, wearing masks, developing new treatments, finding a vaccine. Beyond that, the shape of the recovery depends on a couple things. One, how consumers, workers, and businesses respond as the lockdown ends and the virus recedes. How cautious business is about making investments and hiring. How ready the rest of us are to return to our offices, to factories, malls, subways, theaters, and airlines. And two, how persistent the federal government is in supporting all parts of the economy, workers and families, businesses large and small, state and local governments, until private demand returns to normal. For more on this, see the Hutchins Center website, www.brookings.edu/Hutchins Center. I'm David Wessel.